Hello, everybody. My name is Sandra, and I'm the coach for Team BMW. Now, we're really excited to tell you more about the project that we've been working on so far, but let me first introduce the team. So our team consists of our great customer, Heiko Musa, our project management, including Daniel and me, and our awesome developers, Andreas, Daniel, Bojan, Roshan, Jungshi, Mariana, Sapwarshi, Sumit, and I hope I didn't miss anybody. All right, now I'd like to hand over to Bojan. There you go.
As you probably already know, BMW is one of the biggest car manufacturers around the world. As such, it also has a very complex supply chain, and just as any other, it can often be prone to flaws. The problem is that today's supply chains have to rely on a large amount of participants, each and every one of them having their own separate database and being involved in lots of signing and paperwork. Because each transfer of an asset has to be done manually, all this is almost always subject to data manipulation and mistakes. This makes tracking of parts almost impossible. The entire system becomes unreliable and overexpensive. Here's just an example of what happened 1 month ago. Think about how many thousands of customers have been disturbed unnecessarily, and the cost proves to be far higher than they should be. Now, don't get me wrong, the problem doesn't lie within the car manufacturer. The problem lies within the fact that current supply chains are just built inefficiently. Now, currently supply chains have no way to track down each and every part, and there's no possible way to find out which part is in which car. And this is why things like this happen. Now, imagine every single participant in the supply chain was using the same distributed database in which every transfer of an asset happened automatically, and you could accurately trace down the life cycle of each and every part. This is where supply chain meets blockchain, and the end result, part chain. Now, to achieve all this, we had to follow a very strict list of requirements, some of which were real-time tracking and tracing of assets, tamper-proof and secure records, digitization of paperwork, automatic verification and acceptance via smart contracts, and finally, user-friendly application. Now, I'm glad to present you our trailer. The path of a car part from supplier to manufacturer covers a complex landscape of technical, financial, and regulatory processes. Today's supply chains rely on intermediaries at each step of the way, increasing time and cost. Key challenge is the lack of transparency, which leads to fraud and limited trust amongst the participants. Due to the high amount of paperwork and missing interoperability, information on the product's lifecycle is often unavailable. This is where part chain comes in. It counters these challenges by using the key characteristics of blockchain technologies such as peer-to-peer networks, cryptography, and consensus algorithms. Whether it would be creating, transferring, or tracking a part, every step will be securely recorded on the blockchain and visible to all participants of the business network. This makes recalls and audits more efficient and error-proof. Be part of the next technological revolution in supply chain management. Start using part chain.
So I would like to start with our top-level design, where our application makes a difference in the supply chain management by connecting the blockchain to the real world, and where we can see the supplier can register part and issue deliveries and save them as transactions in the blockchain, and later they can hand over the delivery to the logistics, where they can also start or update the delivery and save it as a transaction in the blockchain. Later, the logistics can transfer the ownership of the delivery to the BMW, where BMW can automatically accept or reject the deliveries via smart contracts, and later they can read the transactions and make queries over them. For the analysis object model, it starts with the three types of users. We have the supplier, the logistics, and BMW, where they can perform actions using our application, and we have the part, which can be either single or an integrated part, and each part is assigned to a user, and it is a component of the delivery, and users can make deliveries, and all of these actions are saved in the blockchain as transactions, where later the users can make queries over these transactions, such as searching the whole history of a part, the delivery, or query the transactions. The difference in our solution is that where our application part chain connects to the blockchain, and it occurs using the middleware server. So when a user enters parts details in our component, all the data are transferred to the middleware using the REST API, and they are transferred to the blockchain using the composer component. And later they have to be saved in the blockchain database as transactions. And this happens using the certificate authority, where they have to comply to certain predefined criteria. And then the orderer component validates the transaction. And the last one is the peer who submits the transaction in the blockchain database. And that's it. So now we want to start with the live demo.
So now we're going to do a quick demo how part chain can improve the supply chain management. We start with two employees for BMW, which are Bojan and Proxens.
Hey, Rogers, we need to order another fog lamp.
Didn't we already order some?
Yeah, we did, but there was one missing. I reached out to both the supplier and the logistic provider, but I couldn't find out who's responsible, as there's no way to trace it.
Well, guess what? Management just introduced this new app called Part Chain, which can help us trace each part from its creation to its delivery.
Oh, cool. And how does it work?
It's really straightforward. You just create the delivery, and then the supplier will be notified.
Nice.
As we can see now, the supplier can enter and log in the app and see the request order from the BMW employee.
Okay, so now we received a new order from BMW. So just check it out, what they want us to deliver. Okay, so they want us to deliver another fog lamp. But I don't think we have any in stock, so let's check the inventory. Yeah, we don't have any. But we can just register one from the factory, so use the scan part option, and just take a new one. Okay, yeah, I think the data looks all good, so just register it. Okay, the part was registered successfully, and we can just go back, and yeah, it's in our inventory now. Now we can add it to the order by just scanning it again. So just, yeah. And now the part was scanned and added to the order. The thing we have to do now is just specify a LSP who should deliver the part to BMW. And this will be Satvaji today. Yeah, and that's it. Just create a delivery.
Now the logistics provider logs in inside the app. And where he will be able to see that there is a new delivery available to be picked up at the supplier location. As soon as the logistics arrives at the specified location, the supplier needs to hand over the ownership of the parts to him.
Hi, so you're picking up the delivery, right?
Yeah, do you have it ready?
Yeah, here it is.
Okay, I'll just scan it. I'll just scan it so that, yeah, let's just scan this thing so that we don't have to do all the paperwork and it's accepted. The handover is done.
Great. Yeah, and you remember last time when we were not able to find out who misplaced parts of the delivery? Mm-hmm. Yeah, guess what? Now with the app, if something goes wrong, we know who was responsible for it.
Cool. This will make our life so much easier now.
Yeah, it will.
Okay. I guess I need to start moving now. Bye.
Bye. Have a great day.
Finally, for the last stop, the logistics just needs to hand over the parts to the BMW employee in the specified location. So for that, the BMW employee logs into the app. And then he can check if the delivery actually fulfilled the requirements he specified beforehand.
All right, here's my order.
Hey there, I have a parcel for you.
Thank you. Let me just scan it.
Here you go.
All right, looks good this time. Now that we have the app, you can no longer mess up with our deliveries.
Yeah, whatever. Take your order. Okay, so to conclude, I will present a status of what we are working now and what we hope to deliver for the client acceptance test. So as of now, the BMW, that is the receiver, can place orders, create orders, and it is registered in the blockchain, but the supplier is not yet notified about the order request. We are also working on the delivery workflow and plan to work on the dashboard, which will contain a list of all the transactions and the inventory of parts, etc. And with that, I would like to conclude our presentation. Thank you.